The Department of Education launching an investigation into 2 Ivy League universities after they apparently failed to report hundreds of millions of dollars in foreign gifts and contracts. This after Harvard professor Charles Lieber was indicted for lying about his involvement in China's Thousand Talents plan. Once FBI Special Agent Mark Ruskin explains this non-traditional academic espionage.
They've been arrested and charged with economic crimes. In either with accepting payment for contracts for doing research, in those cases for China, or for accepting grant money, or for not revealing to the university that they worked for that they were accepting grant money from the U.S. and at the same time accepting money for the research they were doing from a hostile power.
Lieber is accused of receiving $1.5 million to open a research lab in Wuhan. Ruskin says the Chinese regime uses money to lure professors into sharing their research with China.
It's coercion in the sense that the professors are being enticed with economic, financial incentives to work in China for Chinese research institutes. It's playing on the greed of the professors in order to have them essentially serving 2 different masters.
Ruskin saying China uses legal yet unethical means to acquire sensitive research.
They're obtaining vast amounts of data and information essentially legally, but because they're being very active and proactive, they access it either before it becomes classified or they access obscure information.
Lieber received over $8 million in grants from the Department of Defense, in part from the Office of Naval Research and the Air Force Office of Scientific Research.
Or it can be utilized for military purposes, and if it's utilized for a military purpose by a power that's not sympathetic but hostile to democratic countries, then there's a big risk.
Ruskin adding there is a tendency for academics to downplay the seriousness of the threat of sharing sensitive information with a hostile power. Kevin Hogan, NTD News, New York.